We're back up. It's been pretty good during the qualifiers. Okay, we're back.
Oh, we reconnected on the ops.
Roland, that's your job. We're going to keep on talking. This draft is well underway. MVP Phoenix, they have all these things that it's strange. They have like a little bit of push with Jakiro and Nature's Prophet. They have like very defensive abilities and passive abilities with Treant Protector. It's a little strange.
Well, you can't see it on the main screen right now, as apparently yep, there it is. We'll flick it to here, and but it looks like our internet dropped for a second. We are back. But as you were saying, they do have a bit of push with the Nature's Prophet and Jakiro. They have a lot of defensiveness with the Treant Protector, but they're definitely going combo heavy as well, grabbing up the Warlock.
Damn, the Warlock.
Yeah. Love seeing a Warlock played, man. And the question becomes, where's that Warlock going to end up running? You would seem right now he would just be another support. But, well, I don't know. It's kind of complicated. You can always do something like the good old mid Warlock. Remember those days?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Solo mid Warlock is legit.
It is, absolutely.
You can't really clown on Invoker, but he still owns.
But, yeah, big combo time. If you're able to get an Overgrowth that catches 2 or 3 in a set area, follow it up with an Ice Path, and drop the rock with the Warlock, that's nasty. On the side of Execration, kind of wide open. Dazzle, Sand King. I've been seeing a lot of Sand King played of late. And, he got buffed. And do you think he's warranted, the hero himself? It is warranted that he's played this much?
Yes.
Break that down. Why?
Instant stun. That is probably the most important thing about him. It's really good against BKB. You can stun lock someone from 100 to 0. It's really good. It's just really good in general. And he can get a Blink Dagger really, really fast. There's a reason why he was the most popular hero at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a lot of damage. And he's one of the supports that actually just like, he can straight kill people almost before they pop their BKB if you are a good Sand King. The problem is he's really high skill cap because you can do so many things with him. You can early roam, you can counter gank, you can stack and farm. I mean, he pretty much has it all.
Well, he got a number of buffs all at once, it seemed, because you had the Blink Dagger change, which helped him out a ton, but most importantly, his ability to fall back out of a pure support role and go into the jungle and farm with Sandstorm. That alone means he actually has a chance to get, like, for the longest time, it felt like if he didn't have a good start, the Blink Dagger was just going to be ages and ages coming out. Now, so long as there's someone on the map that can make room for him, he can reliably get a Blink, much in the vein of a Bad Rider.
Yes, and I think where Sand King really shines is when you play aggressively and they think you're ganking and you're actually farming. So everyone has to play scared, but you're actually just getting your Blink Dagger. And that's the thing. You're always the threat is just way too much to deal with. And
10 seconds remaining.
Warlock is nice. Chaotic Offering, which we will refer to as the Rock.
The Rock.
People always question, like, what do you mean by Rock? It was called Chaos Infernal in Dota 1. It was a big, pretty much flaming rock.
Yep, it just came down.
But we'll call it the Rock. But it's pretty good. They have excellent team fights. So that's the one thing that I look at MVP Phoenix and be like, okay, well, they can lose their lanes because if they just 5-man down mid prior to the Tinker pick, then they can win team fight. Just Rock, Overgrowth, Ice Path, Macropyre, you'll win, and then whoever they want to do as their carry, like someone like a Gyrocopter, would just obliterate Execration if 2 or 3 people get caught. But with a Tinker now, that makes things much, much more difficult for MVP Phoenix because you never want to push versus Tinker. You can split push, but you can't just straight 5-man push. And MVP Phoenix, their strength is 5-man push.
Right. Well, any hope they had a split push, and that's the nice thing about a Tinker pick. Prophet, as good as he is at split pushing, and as good as he can be if he gets ahead in item, something like Shadow Blade or what have you, Tinker's just the answer for that. All he has to do is show up in lane anywhere Prophet's trying to push, drop down a march or two, and once he gets up an item or two, he actually has the damage output to punish a Nature's Prophet who goes pure glass cannon, which is usually how we see them build. Unless they go something like utility. But Storm Spirit, the last pickup for MVP Phoenix, I really like that hero. Gives them more aggressive potential on top of everything else, and gives them a hero who's going to be able to just focus down any primary target they need to get to. The reach of him alone adds a lot to that 5-man push as you were talking about.
I like that they didn't go one-dimensional. They could have done something like, let's say, Pugna, if they wanted to, and just kind of brute force through Execration's lineup, but that's not the right way to tackle a Tinker pick. You either ban them out so they don't really have any good options for anti-push, but if they do pick it, you have to switch gears. Storm Spirit, Nature's Prophet, very threatening gank duo. The only thing is, Jakiro and Treant Protector, they can't really do that much on their own. They might have some hope in being able to chew through a Timber Saw, or zone out a Timber Saw, but I don't know, Timber Saw's not really your biggest threat if you're if you're MVP Phoenix, you have to shut down the Tinker, you have to shut down the Invoker, and you can't let Sand King farm a early Blink Dagger without getting a lot of farm yourself.
I think the thing that jumps out at me immediately is MVP is really overly reliant even on 5-man damage and the way that all their spells interplay. When you look at Execration, you can put a Sand King and a Timber Saw together and have them roam, and they're going to be pretty potent on their own if they have all of their abilities off cooldown. Storm Spirit, great single target.
10
Nature's Prophet, if he gets
remaining.
farmed, can be a great glass cannon. But whenever you look at what they're going to be able to
5
do, like,
seconds
what two
remaining.
heroes out of this are going to be all that great at roaming by themselves? I mean, like, the Tree and the Jakiro, that's fine. Warlock's really ulti dependent.
Is it going to be a farming Storm or a farming Warlock, though? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually.
If they do a farming Warlock and the other two supports let them get level 6, I think they can actually take the fight to Execration very early. But the biggest part is they have to keep Tinker down, and that is Storm Spirit's job. If Storm Spirit plays passively and doesn't get any kills and just farms for whatever item he's farming for, or just like goes with his team the whole entire time, they're probably going to lose. So they have to get kills on Tinker, and that is his job. He just needs to zip in, find him wherever he wants to split push, make his life absolutely miserable.
Well, we're loaded in, but it looks like we have one that's disconnected, and hopefully we'll be back in just a moment. You're tuned into the North American Hub. We're here on the mainstream, myself, AC, plus Merlini, bringing you the TI4 NA Hub coverage presented by Monster Energy, and PC restarted, says Ninja Boogie. Do you know Ninja Boogie, by the way?
Yeah.
I know the legend of him. He still identifies as American, and he now lives in C, right?
TI4 or TI3 qualifiers, he was pretty memorable player.
The only experience I really have with him outside of that was at the was in the G1 Champions League. Going back
TI2
to-
qualifiers?
Yeah.
Not he was in the TI3 qualifiers?
Yeah.
Who was the gyrocopter player that we I kind of remember his name. Maybe it wasn't him. He wasn't in there?
He was in G1 Champions League. That's where I know him from, for sure. We're talking it over with Roland and Gauze as we have some downtime, so you're not hearing their side of it. We're not just mumbling to ourselves, I promise.
Well, I've definitely heard of him.
Yep.
TI2 qualifiers apparently. So
Like when it comes to C, the players that I remember the most are Chains. He was a part of Chain Stack, and they made a bit of a run in the G1 Champions League. And then Ninja Boogie, just because he is always the lone American flag flying on on the side of these C teams. And I can't remember like what his story is. He has some story to him, but at any rate, still waiting on our restarted player to rejoin us. And
checking out cosmetics.
yep, that's what you do, dude. I'm down with
Ring
that.
of the Storm. Okay, Nature's Prophet.
Genuine? No,
Scythe of
auspicious.
Ice.
Auspicious.
Please,
You have a
man.
genuine Scythe of Ice?
No.
Get
but I
on my
don't-
level,
I don't
dude.
play Nature's Prophet.
Get on my level, dude.
Screw that.
What's your favorite cosmetic?
Probably Squiddles.
Squiddles is still a big fan of the Squiddles?
Dude, Squiddles is amazing.
Still. I got a genuine Scythe of Ice, has like 6 gems in it, or whatever the max is. It's awesome.
I also like the Alliance PA set.
Yes, it is sick. Make sure you pick that up right now, guys. Head on over to the shop. Recommended by him,
Sand
really.
King.
I don't like that Warlock set all that much because it makes him look like a World of Warcraft hero.
Dude, he has this sick scroll. He has this offhand scroll that has a pentagram inscribed in it.
That's sick.
And the bottom half is like burning fire, and the scroll is like it's like disintegrating.
That's badass.
And it's really cool. I can show you it.
Dude,
Hold on.
well, dude, after this, whenever we get a break, I just want to go through your cosmetics, man. We'll trade. You're not getting my genuine Scythe. You're not getting my Dazzlator set either. You have one of those?
See this? Inscribe Warlock summoning scroll.
Oh, that is so sick.
I know.
Hey, switch it to Merlini's. Yeah, switch it to Merlini's real quick.
This thing's cool.
Dude, it is this. That is one of the coolest
I know.
cosmetics I've ever seen.
That's definitely the coolest cosmetic on Warlock.
look at that. That is awesome.
Yes.
I actually like it with the staff too. It's kind of like, do those two come packaged together?
I don't know. Staff of Infernal Chaos, probably not. But anyway, this scroll is sick.
Yes, very much agreed. All right, so
Well, his other cosmetics are like a lantern. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? Warlock, what is he doing with a lantern?
it's the same thing with
It's
Spirit
like
Breaker.
exploring basements and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's the
no.
same thing with Spirit Breaker. He's carrying the big lantern. It's like incense. Is it like one of those incense burner
I don't
things
know.
or something?
It's just really weird. He also
Yeah.
has like a Jolly Rancher staff that,
Yeah.
that looks really silly. I don't know. They come on, cosmetic workshop people, get your stuff together, make some cool things.
Make sure you check out Sith Happens, I think is the name he used. I know him as Manny. He's got a sick new Phantom Lancer set that we debuted on the D2L. And, yeah, we've seen PL played a couple of times. He's making a comeback. It's a good hero. Annoying hero.
PL?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's underrated. He has to be a really good PL player, I feel.
Well, he's so good against lineups that are super like single target gank oriented.
Yeah, but the problem is,
Yeah, then you
just
got to
end the
deal
game.
with a single target gank.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And people are really good about getting gem early, I'd say, in top level play, so that makes his life a lot more difficult. But anyways, here we go. Game will be underway. Looks like EWE or U, email sheep, has.
Oh,
Whoa.
Aegis, random Aegis, just cause. There we go. Switching to the in game. One of my favorite things to do, just as a final thought on that, whenever I'm playing with friends and we see a Phantom Lancer pick, like in a pub, I love running Spirit Breaker Lifestealer. It is so fun.
Dude, have you seen this courier, the Shagbark? He's decked out. He's renamed. He's called Pinoy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you see this?
Yeah. Ships in the night, prismatic gem. Yeah.
Yeah, you see the flavor text?
Yeah.
Cool.
Dude, that is awesome. I need to get a courier in the
Okay,
game.
well, we might actually see First Blood happening
Yeah, how
very,
about we
very
talk about
soon.
Dota? MVP moving as a group. They may run into Yui here. And
There's no way they can get a kill unless he gets Sprout first, and that's just not worth it since he has Tangos. So he does have Boost first, and they have repelled it. So now they have secured control of their jungle, and it will make pulling extremely
30
difficult for
seconds
them.
to battle.
Think they'll end up dropping more than one ward?
Yes, they
Yeah,
should.
there you
This
go.
is kind of the standard for Sanking now, I say,
Right.
is just invade his jungle or put so much pressure on his lane that he can't actually do it. But if you aren't going to offensive try, then just ward it up. This
Right.
is a pretty good ward spot, too.
So, wards down, teams pulling back. How about we take a look at the lineups as the lanes take shape, the horn blows, and the creeps begin to spawn, starting with MVP. MVP will have March playing on our
battle
Warlock. He's making his way up the
begins.
top lane right now. It'll be Heen playing on our Treant Protector. Quo. Is it QO or Quo?
QO.
QO. I'll be playing on our Storm Spirit. It'll be Ryson on the Jakiro, and Forever, or Forev, I suppose, on the Nature's Prophet, and we see he grabs a haste rune right off the bat. Other side of the river, Ninja Boogie playing on our Tinker. Gonna be Fox on the Sand King, a Binge on the Invoker, Yui, or Uwe, however it's pronounced, on the Timbersaw, and BGO1 playing on the Dazzle.
So it is an off-lane solo Tinker with Boots first, and they've already handled this early game very well. I mean, some people think like the pre-creep spawn is pretty unimportant, but I actually think it's one of the most important things in the game. Like where you set up, where you show your heroes, the aggression.
Dazzle,
the
caught by the Ice
Oh, no.
Path. Let's see if they can get them.
This is such a weird dual lane from them, and
Yep.
yeah, they need to secure Tinker's farm, but do they really want to run an offlane Tinker as opposed to other viable offlane heroes who can do more with less farm? It's a trade-off that I'm sure they took into consideration, but Tinker's he needs to be able to catch him at some time.
Seems like there are always a couple of teams who
Radiant's
love to
bottom
play around with the
tower is
idea of
under
running
attack.
Tinker in weird places. You know, support Tinker. It was Cloud9 that ran that not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Why would you run support Tinker? There's
Exactly.
like Caudle is so good at anti-push, and he's just much better all around for that position. I feel like. I mean, they could even run like Caudle Dazzle in the offlane. It's not like
Yeah.
I guess they don't really. They kind of lack on late game though. So in their safe lane, they have a Timbersaw farming, which is a little strange. Timber is somewhat item dependent. He does need, I'd say, like Arcane Point Booster as baseline for like 15 minutes, but it's usually not terribly difficult for him to farm that, and that's not your general position one. So Execration doing things a little bit different. So is MVP though. Oh, Ninja Boogie taking a lot of harass.
A little bit of Shadow Wave action and tangoing himself up. So sustain not going to be the biggest issue for a while. It's nice to have the Dazzle there. That way, if he does get caught out, you at least have Grave to rely on. We'll see how quickly and how early he decides to put a point into Grave once he hits level 2. Down at bottom there, like you said, the Timbersaw should be having a whale time, and he is zoning out Forev right now, so his CS shouldn't be too much of a problem. And wow, QO in trouble in the river. He got caught with Cold Snap. Now the Living Armor there to help out and buy time for him to get to the Illusion Rune. Living Armor's pretty good spell here.
That's annoying. He didn't get level 1 Leech Seed, which means that they could have put a lot more pressure on the Tinker. Look how far he's pushed up. It's a solo Tinker with not that much defensive capabilities, except he has boots and he has a Dazzle babysitting him, but he shouldn't be able to get that much CS in lane. He has 0 and 4, so he has no CS.
Yep. Struggling to get any. He's level 2 right now. Saved his second point, and he'll save that until he decides what build he wants to go. BGO1 bailing out now, and we're actually seeing the Sand King looking to get some stacking going on.
So Invoker has actually gone Quasar X, which I think is the right choice this game because they don't need to take it late, or if they do take it late, Tinker will have it covered. So it's okay if he doesn't play greedy, if he goes control, because as we said before, the strength of MVP's Phoenix is 5 man. So if they can kind of take away from that, MVP their lineup isn't actually that strong. Oh, nice blue ward by Raisin.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I guess a ping on, cold snap on the QO, burrow strike, just about in range. It is a very low range at this level. There's a tornado, and he's going to follow it up. Let's see if they've got the right click. Living Armor helping things out. Poison Touch coming from the high ground. Well shot from BGO1, who is in the right place at the right time, securing first blood for MVP.
Living Armor, apparently not that strong. Not versus Cold Snap, not versus the Poison Touch. So many instances of damage there, and I mean, it's not going to save him. So I don't exactly know what he was doing so far up. I think he has to play a little bit more passively, and he can't bully them around, especially when two supports are missing off the map.
Coming back around to what you were talking about, you know, when you look at
Raisin on top.
Yep, up at top. They're going to have the Ice Pass, going to split the wickets, and they're going to try to maybe, looks like Ninja Boogie thought about it, doing a little bit of damage. Now he's going to start using March of the Machines to just keep this lane pushing and secure himself a little bit farm. At what point do you think they're going to try to rotate him out of here?
Ninja Boogie?
Yeah.
I don't think they need to.
Like, really? You think he's doing that well?
Yeah, I think he's doing fine. He hasn't died. He's pretty high in terms of experience, 3.5. Compare that to the off lane, they're 4.5. Actually, 4F has actually left the lane for some reason.
He almost died twice.
It's a Timber's not strong, but he's not that strong.
Well, he's got a free lane to himself now.
I think it's important to keep him there because if they keep him here, they keep the supports from moving about, which means that the Storm Spirit is very vulnerable in the mid lane. If they leave, then that means March or whoever they want to free farm over here will just get free farm, and the supports can do whatever they want. Put pressure on Invoker, especially since QO is almost level 6, and they need to prevent that from happening. And yeah, they could potentially get him some stacks, but they can always do the stacks, and MVP can't contest the stacks.
Speaking of March, he's at 22 CS right now. Second on the board. He's right there with Storm Spirit in mid. Big winner so far is on Execration, who has got their Timbersaw at 27 CS. And, you know, when I really want to see how MVP is going to choose to put this together. I like the choice of the Invoker to go Quas Wex, as you said.
Ninja Boogie.
Up, Call of the Leech Seed. March is there. He's moving pretty quick, too. He's going to try to TP away and should be able to make it, and will. Not enough right click. But there's just going to be so much for MVP to try to push into and 5-man into. They have to deal with March. They have to deal with the counter initiation of the Sand King, as he is now finally getting to work in the jungle. He's a little behind, but he has found level 4, so it should get much quicker from here. They're going to have Tornado EMP to worry about.
Mid.
And Chakra. And QO, low mana, has to use his stick charges. Up. Didn't get another proc on the Cold Snap, and the Courier's right there across from him. And let's see how he wants to micro this finally. Grabs up that ward.
If he gets a regen rune, Invoker's probably dead, so he has to be... Oh, there is a regen rune on top lane!
Yep.
So fortunate. Well, ABENG, I don't know. It's looking dangerous.
Here we go, looking for it. Nope. Made it back to the tower. Up at top, looks like we might have some action. They're all grouped together, and March in trouble. Using the heal. Shadow Word pretty good, but Yui with that rotation up, catches the Jakiro with the Chakram. Very nice with the Shadow Wave to clean him up. Boogie's gonna end up being caught with the Shallow Grave to buy him some time. Phoenix has rotated the Nature's Prophet up now, though. That's 2 for 1 so far. Could get worse. MVP paying it back in spades. Ewing hit with the Shadow Word, and he'll die for sure. So the aggression certainly understandable and warranted, but MVP back on the board in a big way. They now lead 3-2.
Why did they choose to overextend with Tinker there? Once he gets BOTs, you can overextend because he won't actually lose that much gold. But without BOTs, Tinker is just so damn weak. Look at his gold right now. He has Brown Boots, Sage's Mask, Ring of Regen, and 100 gold. So if he's... Oh,
QO caught in mid. There's a Tornado to follow it. And he will be able to zip to the high ground and just under his tower. And a little bit, yeah, he actually didn't have anything he could have done.
You can't overextend into a Storm like that. If they had a different mid-hero, like Death Prophet or something like that, then maybe. But a Storm with a regen, you're just asking to give him a triple kill.
Yep. And that definitely swings the momentum around. They did rotate the Tinker out, and this is kind of what I was talking about. I mean, like you said, his experience wasn't bad, but as you just said, he's really dependent on getting up bots at a decent clip, and he wasn't farming fast enough to make that a real reality unless they got him in lane by himself. So he's making up some ground down at bottom. Up at top, Yui doing his best to zone them out, but here about we're just about 8 minutes in. I mean, obviously we can go by the scoreboard, but in terms of pure composition, who do you think's done the right amount of work? Hold that thought. A binge caught here in mid. He's going to throw the Tornado, but he's dead anyway. As Forev shows up on the Prophet and secures another kill.
I think MVP just because of that overextension on top. They don't have to play aggressively. Like, who cares if a wolf?
Oh, dropping the rock. Yui caught, gets the Timber Chain off though. BGO1 was there, so maybe a little overzealous there, spinning the ult a bit early and very hard to track down. That is a very good chakram. Got two. Fox is going to go right for it. Goes in with the Burrow Strike. He's not level 6 yet, but Timber there to clean it up with the Whirling Death. And now Jakiro in some trouble. There's a Leech Sheet to slow down the Sand King. He'll have Burrow Strike in 2 seconds, though. Chakram slowed it down just enough, as well as the Poison Touch. Right-click and one more Whirling Death under the tower, just in the shadow of it. They're also going to get Heen. They should anyway. No, he doesn't have mana. He doesn't have enough for the Whirling Death, so they can't get him. And the Warlock Golem enough to track down 1 kill. Burrow Strike helps get Fox back to safety, and the tree did manage to make it away. So a lot of blood spilled in that top lane. Almost every kill of the game taking place up there. MVP with a slight edge, though, 5-4.
As you said before, the Sand King and the Timbersaw duo just doing so much work. It's just ridiculous amounts of burst, and these two players in particular, their coordination was spot on that fight, and they just bursted down hero after hero after hero. And Nature's Prophet wasn't actually at that fight, but he was close to his minus, so you can kind of forgive him on that front.
Tier 1 mid, just about to drop. They're going to rotate someone in. Ice Path there preemptively. This is Timber. So a little tough. Jakiro does get the last hit on the tower. Tornado doesn't catch anyone, though. They want to try and grab someone, but QO should be fine. Nature's Prophet going to be coming back in. They're going to turn around with the Vortex. He actually cancels the TPN. It goes a bit further out. Grave on Dazzle himself to save him. Ice Path is there, though. Well shot from the Jakiro. Got both targets. Secures 1 kill and maybe 2 if they can track down the Invoker. Yui also very low. Storm's going to go for it and grabs him. Coming through the trees. And MVP just showing much cleaner execution. Down goes the sentry, not even needed. Fox trying the juke, and he's just gonna epicenter and do a little bit of damage on the way out the door. Not nearly enough to make anyone worry, and one gets the impression this might be getting a little out of control early. Execration has to get things more in their favor very quick.
Ninja Boogie's doing the right thing, though, and not fighting, not putting him at risk of dying, because Storm could just zip on him at this point and easily kill him. He had a DD that fight, and that definitely swung the tide. But once Ninja Boogie gets his BOTs, they can actually, they have really good sustain and really good defense. Whereas MVP, they kind of have like, they're really bursty, I'd say, with Warlock Ultimate and Shrink Protector Ultimate and Nature's Prophet Ultimate, and limited by Storm Seer's Mana Pool. Whereas XCTN, they're not really ultimate based. Chakram and Tinker, they don't really care about having cooldowns.
Just saw March pick up the first piece of his scepter. That'll be the point. So I was actually just getting ready to ask before we saw that on the courier. Do you think this is a game where, like, when you look at Execration, if they're going to win, they're going to have to take it late? Do you think this is a game where maybe a Midas would have been an option?
For Jakiro?
No, for the Warlock.
Oh, for the Warlock? Yeah, Midas is pretty good on them. Yeah, if they're going to win, I don't think they're going to win it off the back of just a Scepter. It'll be like a Scepter Refresher.
Right,
push into the base. So I think if you get Midas and Scepter Refresher, you'll have it faster than if you just went Scepter.
That's kind of what I was thinking, too. They're going to go ahead and jump on the Dazzle Vortex right in front of the Ancients, and the Graves there to buy him some time. He's going to TP right in his face, and yeah, see you later. And there's a Tornado EMP to counter-initiate. QO has only a little bit of mana, spins it all to get away, does have the Living Armor to help him out. Sand King unable to get the angle on him and get off the Burrow Strike down at bottom. Ninja Boogie tucked up under his tower, Warlock sitting right in front of him.
Yeah, just chilling. Unusual position. What's he using these? Oh, there's a TP.
Yep. Rev there with the Sprout, and between him and the Golem. See you later, Tink. And this is really what worries me, and this comes down to what you were talking about, my friend. The fact that sending him up there is such a big risk on a hero who really needs not just a good start, but is so reliant on the snowball items that come after a good start. And we're just, like, Ninja Boogie has not only not been a part of these fights, but can't be. And Fox doing some little chicanery here. QO going to rotate down. They might punish him for it. Do they have any detection? Does anything do?
He's going to get burned to death by the Warlock Infernal. I mean, that thing does a lot of damage. I'm surprised he's not dropping more remnants, but Fox's HP is taking down. Casually walks out.
That was a little weird.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Ninja Boogie needs to catch up, but one thing that MVP Phoenix has been really good job about since minute 1 is walking off the Ancient. I think they've only let one, they haven't even let him stack their whole entire game.
And here comes Invoker rotating the top. Heen could be in trouble. He will be in trouble, and cleaned up over on the side by Yui. Yui's so low, though, after Wrath of Nature. Tornado missed again. They could have maybe gone on the Jakiro.
Wow, that's a fast Scepter.
Yeah,
I guess if you get in 12 minutes, who needs the Midas?
12 minutes. As you said, Scepter's going to be on cooldown for about another 90 seconds-ish. About 82, actually. What's the game plan right now for Execration? Like, you know that things are getting out of control. You know Ninja Boogie's hurting. You can only buy him so much time. Is there anything else you can draw upon to try to get some momentum in your own favor?
Get Blink on Sand King?
Well, not let this happen, usually. a pretty good idea, as Tinker ends up being picked off solo by
It's
QO.
just such a greedy lineup.
Yep.
They didn't have to pick the Timbersaw, or if they did, dump him in the off lane instead of Tinker in the off lane, and they just kind of let him out to cry. But I think it really all started with that overextension though, and just letting Storm get too big. And he's gonna be on decent track for an Orchid, and it looks like Invoker's also going for Orchid. But I think the Storm is just gonna be so much more potent with it than the Invoker.
Fox spotted out by March and Ryson.
Easy XP.
Dire's middle
Soaking
tower
it
is
up.
under attack.
Surprised they're not actually trying to do something cutesy here. Yeah, they're going to set up wait for the Storm. There you go. Perfect. Oh, no, they actually didn't get him. Yeah, I thought they had him for sure. And instead he's able to burrow strike to safety. Now Yui's going to be spotted. And he does a little bit of damage.
The fade time's too long on the Sandstorm.
Tornado EMP catches two. There's a cold snap to slow down Phoenix. He's getting a lot of damage here. Is helped out by the Shadow Word from March. And looks like they don't want to push out into the darkness, so going to hold on and wait.
Shadow Word entry is actually ridiculous sustain.
How do you like Warlock better, as a support or as a...
I like him as a... I don't like him as a...
Two golems chasing down some targets.
They don't have anywhere to keep him placed.
And Phoenix just got himself a kill at top, it looks like, or somewhere.
Oh, Ninja Boogie.
Yep, Ninja Boogie. His struggles continue. They're going to push with these two golems here. Fox burrow strikes and actually catches two. Let's see if they can do much with it. He's going to die to nothing, but the golems are not careful.
Radiant's top tower
And the regen they're getting from Shadow Word plus Living Armor is just tremendous. And, I mean, this tower's going to end up standing, I think. They should not be able to... Yeah, they're going to finish this out by themselves. But they even have the push coming from Jakiro with Liquid Fire, which is quite handy-dandy as well. And he's, yeah, he's maxed out.
They need to combo the ultimate from Warlock with the ultimate from Treant Protector, because as it stands, the Warlock's golems drop and everyone just runs away. They're not doing any damage right now. Or QO needs a lot of mana, so he can just jump and kill people instantly. But as it stands, Warlock ultimate kind of wasted, but at the same time, Execration is still not getting that much out of the map. Let's check Ninja Boogie's gold. He's at 1900, so it's very, very close to BOTs.
He's going to have a soul ring and bots up at just about 16 minutes, one would say. But still, the damage is deep. The net worth chart shows the Nature's Prophet is actually double the highest farmer right now on the side of Execration. They're going to jump on Heen as well as Phoenix, or as well as Forev. And the epicenter's there, but they end up trading 1-for-1, and Invoker caught with an ice path from the low ground. He's going to have to ghost walk. Do they have any detection at all? Doesn't look like they do. He is going to continue to lose some damage to Shadow Word, but that's going to be close, but he should end up surviving.
That's an ambitious smoke gank. I guess they were just looking for a Nature's Prophet. It would have been a pretty easy kill. Nature's Prophet just picked up Necro 3. Unfortunately, didn't have it in time to kill the Invoker, but now that push is really potent. But at the same time, Tinker just got his BOTs. So just when they get the Necro 3, he gets the BOTs. Not the greatest timing from Tinker, but at least it has finally come out.
I don't know. It just feels like every time Warlock's ult's off cooldown, they're just going to be able to rush. I mean, at some point soon, QO's going to finish up his Orchid. And I don't even know what you do then, because that basically takes anyone you care to take out of the fight out immediately.
You need to instantly Orchid him or stun him with Sinking and try and get a return kill on Storm Spirit as possible. But it's just difficult with these blanket ultimates with Warlock and Dream Protector. You can only Orchid one person. And on top of that, they have like an Ice Path that counter initiate. Their team fight is still pretty ridiculous.
Roach down to about a quarter health, and looks like Execration, they know what's going on, they just have no interest in trying to challenge it. So they're going to have to deal with an Aegis. They're down to just tier 2s to begin with, and the game's so early on that respawn timers alone will be a big help in their defending these towers if they do end up losing fights, but that's not going to last forever. They're going to immediately bounce through the jungle now and head to bottom lane, which is shoved up under that tier 2.
There's been so much fighting around the map that usually you'll see heroes with much earlier items. Like Invoker should probably has his second Oblivion staff right now. Storm Spirit should probably have his completed Orchid. But no one's really under-farmed in this game just due to the virtue of how much fighting has been going around the map.
Structures are fortified.
Tier 2 bottom, not even going to be contested. MVP going to take this relatively for free, and wow, QO just going for it. Jumping onto the Invoker. And Invoker will have to Ghost Walk away. Ice Path's going to be a little late. Rockets come out, do good damage to Jakiro and the Storm. And let's see, they should probably back off here. I don't know why they were going to push here.
Well, they got the tower, so they came for it. And QO, his team wasn't there to follow him up. The dust did not come out early enough, and it was a little bit deep. Warlock ult still up, and they need to take down more towers, I believe, with the Aegis, and they have a pretty big window to do so. I think they could probably take both T2s if they want to, because it's unlikely that Execration will defend unless Tinker has his Blink Dagger, or else he's just going to be absolute food.
Right now, Tinker's got to get his farm game together, man. He has to catch up. A complete non-factor. He's got a bottle, a soul ring, and his bots, and that's it. And only 600 gold outside of that, too. Meanwhile, you've got Tree and Protectors picking up gems on the other side of the river. He's roughly as farmed as the enemy Jakiro is at this point. That's how starving he happens to be. I just don't know, like, how do you even begin to go about making space for him to catch up?
You can just stack into inches and fight from very well fortified positions, like over here or up your T3, and there's no reason for them to take fights outside the base unless they can catch someone off guard with Sand King and Timbersaw and just instantly burst them down. But I mean, I don't even really know who you burst down at this point. Nature's Prophet's still pretty tanky. It looks like he's going for a second Orchid because Execration has no BKB heroes.
Solo kill. Storm finds Dazzle mid and manages to bring him down. March doesn't have enough mana for his ulti. Worth mentioning, we're going to have a Burrow Strike now catching QO. Storm looking for some positioning on the flank. Runs right into the Invoker, though. Ice Path well shot. And I'll tell you right now, Jakiro has been very well played this game. There's been 3 or 4 Ice Paths that have just been on the money and netted them high priority kills. They're going to try to grab Boogie, and yep, they will grab Boogie as he's brought down following the Overgrowth. And this is beginning to have that snowball feeling. After this tower drops, they're going to be right around 750 gold per minute lead they've generated since this game began, just as we cross the 20-minute mark. And some point soon, they're going to feel comfortable to push a tier 3.
Storm Spirits and Nature's Prophet's presence around the map is just so darn good at controlling everywhere that Execration wants to look to farm. All the T1s are still up, and it's not because of Tree and Protector. It's because of the Storm Spirit and the Nature's Prophet. If they see anyone on the map pushing out a little bit too far, you definitely don't want to go past the river versus lineup. They're going to die in. Tinker, I don't even know if he's going to get blinked by like 25, 30 minutes, and usually you'll see a BOT's blink by 15, I'd say.
Another book up on Jakiro, too. I mean, there's no simpler way to look at it. You have a Tinker who is ultra item reliant, and he can't afford a Blink Dagger at 20 minutes. Meanwhile, you have Jakiro who's picking up a book at 20 minutes, to say nothing of the Prophet's Book 3. So, I mean, we've kind of theory crafted what the plan's got to be. Let's talk about MVP. Like, it seems pretty obvious, but what complexities, if any, exist with this? Is it just 5-man down and go win, or is there more
They
to
need
it?
if they fall into a trap by Execration, like if they bait out the Tinker or bait out the Invoker and then counter with a Sand King ultimate, they can't do it now because Storm has an Aegis, but if they can get themselves into that sort of position, MVP will have to think twice about where and when they control the map, and they haven't been doing a good job of that at all. I don't exactly know where the supports have been, but when have we seen any Grave? Dazzle, I think, has been trying to place wars, but he just dies every time he does.
He's graved himself more than anyone else.
Yes. I don't even know if he's graved anyone else.
Yeah. I want to say he threw 1 on the Boogie at one point and kept him alive.
Yes. But he's still going to die anyways. It's not like a Storm Spirit is going to have trouble chasing down a 1 HP hero. Or even like Fatal Bonds.
And QO in the meantime, see ya, Boogie. This is just a tough game for him. And now we're going to have Yui caught out. Look at the damage output they already have. There's a Sprout onto the Dazzle. He'll grave himself, but it's not going to matter. Yep, he's going to end up dead regardless. To nothing but creeps. One last auto attack secures the kill. And atop, in the meantime, split push is on. Last remaining outer tier tower, now in shambles.
So we talked about MVP, their strength is a 5-man, but they're just doing such a good job of accomplishing things around the map as packs of 1 or 2 for him. Just picking off heroes on his lonesome. Storm Spirit doing the same thing, and they're just pressuring everywhere. How is the Tinker supposed to deal with this sort of pressure?
Look at this. Look at this. Just coming from 2 different angles. Just completely rocking Execration. They dropped the rock on the top tier 2. Meanwhile,
GG.
QO, tried the dive.
What a greedy draft from Execration. The Timbersaw pick, I was just like, why do you need Timbersaw? You don't really like damage. You like control in team fights. And Blink Dagger didn't come out on Sand King. Blink Dagger did not come out on Tinker. It wasn't an ill-constructed draft. I just don't think they could have played that way. They had to play extremely careful, not overextend at all, and one big mistake just led to everything falling apart.
Not a whole lot to add to that, man. You can see just a complete and utter dominating performance.
So MVP Phoenix is what, 5-2 now, I believe?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 5-2.
Yep, so that, well, it's like we were talking about. Magic number's 5. That means there's virtually no way they get left out of tiebreakers at the very least.
And Arrow lost to Myth.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, that's impressive.
That is impressive.
So Myth Trust suddenly is right there with him.
We have a couple games going on. We have FD versus RRQ. RRQ still in the running. They've only lost 3 games.
Yep.
So the magic number, I guess, is what? You can't lose more than 4.
Right. Yep.
And 4 is a little question.
It feels kind of like a race to 5 wins. 4 wins, outside chance, but 5 wins for sure. 6 wins, no doubt. You're even in contention for
So
the second
MVP Phoenix
spot,
looking real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's the first time we actually got to catch them on the mainstream, and for me, like in general as well. And what I find most interesting is that they're drafting and playing their own style. They don't care what other teams are doing.
Yep.
They just draft first pick Jakiro. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think there's too much to talk about that specific game, but I think talking about MVP more in general, they love these heavy team fight early push.
And
Jakiro, Warlock. It's
Who
obviously
picks
one of their
Warlock?
big strategies. I think looking at a few of their other games, they picked a bit of Jakiro and a Warlock or 2 here or there, so it's one of their strats. But it goes to say this is a team that you got to look out for. And come playoffs times, teams will look over their replays and see what they like to do, and that's where it's going to be interesting to see if they can adapt to that or whether or not they're going to kind of suffer because teams figure them out.
Yep. I mean, right now, like that, I think was kind of expected. MVP was pretty heavily favored. Execration as they haven't won a game. I don't.
They've won one game.
Have they won one game? Who'd they beat?
Yes. Execration has beat First Departure. So
okay.
arguably one of the bottom 3 teams.
Yeah, bottom feeders. So, but for MVP, they get their win. But now we're really beginning to see the top 6 take shape. I don't think we're gonna have a short night. I think we're gonna have a lot of tiebreakers. It's starting to look that way.
I think right now FD, Execration, Zephyr are all done for.
Yep.
Looking up Ben screen, it looks like RRQ are having some troubles against First Departure, which could be bad news for RRQ. This is a game RRQ need to win if they want to be in those tiebreakers, I feel. I can see our standings here. So we've got MVP 5-2. They're
Myth
third
winning
place,
that
but
game is huge, man.
yes, Myth actually
huge.
winning against. Not so much because you beat Arrow Gaming, who's the best team, but they needed that win. More than anything.
Well, that's one that when you look at them and when we were talking about them, you go, well, they're probably going to lose that one. But now it's not so much that they have a chance that they were really at risk of losing their last match. I'm not even sure they play actually.
They play RRQ.
Okay, so they play RRQ, but now they have a legitimate chance to finish in second place. Like, there's no doubt about it. They have a legitimate chance to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're 6-3.
Yeah, exactly. So,
oh my gosh.
So that, and then when you look at the implications for everyone else, you've got a lot of 4-win teams. That means if anyone really wants to get themselves out of the tiebreakers, because you still have that third place slot, like that opens up more room for one team to kind of rise up, get a surprise win, and secure third. And then you have like 3 or 4 teams playing for 1 slot instead of 3 or 4 teams playing for 2 slots.
And you can see here at bottom 5, the only team here, like RRQ, currently not doing well against First Departure. Scythe could have done well today, except they lost to MVP Phoenix. Well, I mean, was it MVP Phoenix? Who'd Scythe lose to earlier today?
Scythe lost to
one of the first 2 rounds. They lost to MVP, yeah. Scythe lost to MVP. That was a really bad loss for Scythe, because coming in today, they were 2-3, and I would have said, look, Scythe still have a chance. They're one of the best teams. They were predicted as top 1, top 2 by most people for a reason, but losing to MVP, at this case, they've got to win out, and that includes winning out against Arrow in their final match of today, which is doable for Scythe, but tough.
But in fairness, if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 times those teams have matched up, haven't Scythe won?
Scythe won. No,
I think they did.
But Scythe took a game or 2 off, like here and there, I believe. I'm not.
I can't remember. Like I was talking to Base Skip about it. I want to say Scythe won 3-0 and one best of 3. Maybe the other one they lost 3-2.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a 3-2 score and a 3-0, and I know Scythe won at least one.
Oh wow. Okay. So Scythe match up maybe well against Arrow Gaming, and that can be something that.
I think they got the yips, man. I think it's just like you come in, you lose, you take a couple of tough losses, and now you're just trying to find yourself. You got confidence questions and all this. I don't know though. Like what I said, I even tweeted it. Was if they can make it to the bracket, I think they'll be fine. But I don't know if they're going to go there. Like, there's too many teams that are playing too well at the moment, and they've lost too many games they should have won.
And is Orange versus Scythe still going on, Ben?
I'm watching a big team fight.
Scythe beat Orange?
I saw a Ravage, a Doom, an Epicenter, a Chrono, a Primal Split, and everything. It was.
You guys on the stream can't see it, but if you want to see it, check out all the other streams available, twitch.tv/team/TI4NA. But we've got another game coming up next. It's going to be Zephyr against Scythe. Not a very important game for Zephyr, who are knocked out, but for Scythe, this is just another of these must-win matches for them.
They have to win it.
Yeah, if Scythe win out, they can theoretically finish 5-4, and 5-4 is the
bare minimum.
That's the tiebreaker, man. That's like 4th place tiebreaker level. 6-3 is you're in the top 2, top 3.
Yeah,
that's where Myth Trust are hoping for after their next game against RQ. But guys, we're the NA hub for the TI4 qualifiers, presented by Monster Energy. We'll be back. Zephyr vs Scythe coming up next.